Have you ever wondered if everything that happens to you is a result of your own karma? Understanding karma is important because we all want freedom. If you want freedom, you need to understand the rules of the game. As truth seekers, we want to transcend the game, but to do so we need to understand how to play it. If you, like me, have ever wondered what karma means and the impact it has on our lives, I'm sure you'll get some benefit from this video, as I'll bring you deeper Buddhist insights into it and the details that no one tells you. He speaks. Are you ready to discover the secrets of karma that have never been revealed to you? By the end of this video, you will understand what karma is, the difference between positive karma and merit, how the cause and effect relationship works, in addition to the impact of time on karma. You will discover the meaning behind collective karma and what your karmic debts are, in addition to understanding how karma can affect your death process. From this video, you will have a deeper understanding of this complete subject, and you will understand how you can apply this understanding in your life. Imagine using the power of karma to transform your life as a whole. This is the knowledge contained in this video. If you're still watching, chances are something in this video is meant for you. So prepare the popcorn and hold on tight, because today the exploration is deep. Karma is a theme that has been repeated and misinterpreted billions of times. Explaining karma is difficult, especially when we talk about cause and effect. Many people accept this basic notion of planting and reaping what you sow, but karma is much deeper and more complex. A Buddhist would say that we were not created by God, but by karma, which means our destiny is in our hands. However, karma is not that simple. It's like cooking an egg. Before it's fully cooked, you can control the doneness, but once it's almost done, you no longer have control. Sometimes karma can be tyrannical. When Buddhists say they believe in karma, they are not saying that everything is under control, but that we need to be careful in interpreting it. But simply put, what does karma mean? It means that anything we do with our body, speech, or mind will have a corresponding result. Every action, even the smallest one, carries its consequences. Masters often say that even a small poison can kill, and even a tiny seed can grow into a huge tree. Buddha said, "Do not neglect negative actions merely because they are small. No matter how small a spark, it can ignite a haystack as big as a mountain." Similarly, he said, "Do not neglect small good deeds, thinking that they are of no benefit. Even droplets of water eventually fill a gigantic vessel." Karma is almost synonymous with time, and whoever talks about karma has to talk about reincarnation. Time affects how karma manifests, making everything more complicated. Time is a vague phenomenon that makes things real and exciting. Furthermore, this idea of cause and effect is logical, but logic can trap us. When we talk about good and bad karma, we are dealing with vague concepts. The philosophy of karma is like the chicken and egg dilemma. Which came first? The cause itself is the result of another cause. The understanding of karma is linked to the Buddhist concept of sunyata, emptiness. Karma is not destiny nor absolute free will. It is relative, not absolute. Some people think that Buddhists try to accumulate good karma and get rid of bad karma. This is wrong. Buddhists want to transcend karma, both good and bad, as they see karma as a powerful illusion. In a dream, for example, you may have a glass of water in your hands. If you drink it and the water tastes good, time may pass quickly, but if it feels strange, and it is toilet water, for example, the dream may become a nightmare, and time can seem to pass slowly. That is, even time exists in the dream, and this shows us the power of illusion. Karma shows us that, despite being an illusion, it has a real impact on our lives. At one time or another, in this life or the next, if you believe so, your actions generate a consequence. That is why it is important to be aware, or better yet, attentive and present, to understand the consequences of the actions we take. This continuity is essential for us to understand the idea of reincarnation. Many people understand reincarnation in a superficial way, like becoming a horse in the next life, but it's deeper than that. In the morning we are happy, in the afternoon maybe not, and at night we can be happy again. These changes are part of continuity. Things are cyclical. So, when we talk about destiny or free will, we are talking about an immutable reality. But karma accompanies this impermanence of all things. Nothing is static, everything is always in motion. If your actions generate reactions and reincarnation is a continuity of experiences, how can you use your present actions to shape a more conscious and enlightened future? Have you ever wondered if your good deeds really accumulate merit or if they just feed a powerful illusion? The difference between merit and good karma is subtle. Merit is accumulated through positive actions that bring us closer to the truth. In the Buddhist view, for example, it is not about accumulating good deeds and avoiding bad ones. It's going beyond karma, because karma is a very powerful illusion, and the word illusion should not underestimate karma, because it is very powerful. In that dream about water I mentioned earlier, in which you drank bleach, you could call emergency services, you could go to the hospital. All of this can happen in a dream, and in reality, maybe you just dozed off after eating something heavy for 2 minutes and didn't move from the couch. Even if the dream is not real, it has an impact. Good and bad karma are like this. Think about this context. Do you believe in destiny or free will? Look how karma fits into this equation. When we talk about destiny or free will, we are not talking about the dream, the glass in the dream, the water in the dream, the nightmare. We are talking about something true, a reality that cannot be changed. It is not destiny, something that cannot be avoided. Karma is a powerful illusion, like a dream. Even if the dream is not real, it has an impact. Understanding this helps us live better. Karma, destiny, and free will are complex concepts. This is because we are not talking about immutable reality, but about an illusion that has real effects. The ultimate goal here is to free yourself from this illusion. Is it possible for the illusion of karma to be more real than reality itself? In Buddhism, for example, morality and ethics are extremely important behaviors, but they are secondary. Wisdom is the driver. Compassion is the co-pilot, and morality takes the back seat. Wisdom is the priority. Morality and ethics only have value if they help develop wisdom and compassion. Without wisdom, ethics and morality are not enough. Any practice we do should bring us closer to the truth about ourselves. For example, sitting correctly in meditation is a small part, but if it doesn't lead you to the truth, it's no use. Did you know that your mental motivations can create powerful karma? The karma created by the mind is the most important of all. This is probably a big difference between the Buddhist idea of karma and the Hindu idea of karma. Karma of the mind is motivation. It is what makes you and moves you to do something. If you want to lead all beings to the truth about themselves, for example, with this kind of motivation, every action you engage in would become good karma. But this is not the end. This journey takes you to another place. When we talk about bad and good karma, we are generalizing. Killing, stealing, and lying are examples of bad karma, which can result in illness and sadness. People tend to think that luck and wealth are signs of good karma, but this is subjective too. Buddhists sometimes believe that illness is a way of dealing with accumulated bad karma. Marijuana, for example, took many people to Nepal, where they met great spiritual masters. This was due to the exchange of silk between China and India, which ended up taking Buddhism to China. From a Buddhist point of view, for some, marijuana was the result of good karma. But good karma is what brings us closer to Dharma, that is, the truth. People with a lot of material wealth, but no contact with the Dharma, may not have good karma. There is a very big difference between living in illusion and living in truth, and that is what karma and Dharma can teach us about. There are many complex causes and conditions behind it all. Motivation and intention are crucial. So at the end of the day, your actions and reactions are about where they take you. If it leads you to a path of greater compassion for others and greater wisdom for yourself, that's what matters. Returning to the logic of cause and effect, in the dream, a glass can hold water, but this does not make the glass real. When illusion dresses up as logic, what do we really see? This logic makes it seem like cause and effect are real, but it is an illusion. The causes and conditions are countless and vast. For example, if a cow eats plastic, it affects the fertilizer and consequently the tomatoes that a farmer has planted. In addition to cause and effect, we need to consider human motivation, that is, the intention behind why it is an important condition. Some people go to India to drink milk from Indian cows because they believe that the ancestors of these cows may have seen the Buddha. This motivation shows how conditions influence our actions. In other words, karma through the logic of cause and effect is generated by our actions, which are influenced by our conditions and motivations. But when a choice has been made, what is left? If you boil an egg, you have a choice, soft or hard, but it's 100% cooked. You can't change it anymore. Buddhists call this Tantra because the tantric path does not depend on the philosophy of cause and effect. What reveals true value? For a tantric, a kilogram of ore is as valuable as a kilogram of pure gold. An experienced chef doesn't see the ingredients separately, he visualizes the final dish. Thus, the tantric practitioner sees himself and others as Buddha, without distinctions of purity or impurity. It's this universal look that we are all one, interconnected in one way or another. If you've ever wondered if there is collective karma, know that it's real, and you will understand how this invisible force connects us. Sometimes when we talk about karma, people think we are talking about myths or religion, but the important thing is to understand the logic behind karma. Even though we are in different places, there is a karmic connection that unites us, as if we were paying or receiving a karmic debt. All the actions we take individually as human beings have a gigantic impact, not only among us, but also in the animals and on the planet we are living on. A very clear example of this are natural disasters. Nothing is for nothing, and nothing happens by chance. But looking only at karma in this way is very vague and superficial. The roots are deeper than that. When we think about collective karma, we need to understand that this is a broad word. Imagine that 20 people are looking at a tree in a collective experience. Most people understand the tree as leaves and branches in a generalized way. Some people may be allergic to that tree and have a different look at it. Others may not even be paying attention to the tree, so they are not having that experience. But they are all there, in a collective karma, looking at that tree. The question is, are we all seeing the same tree, or are we each seeing our own tree? Do you realize how different each person's experiences are, and how broad this collective is? COVID, for example, can be a collective experience of karma. For us humans, we look at it as something bad, but many animals have benefited from it. Good and evil are subjective. We can indeed have the same experience of collective karma, through the logic of cause and effect, everyone going through the same karma. But each individual's experience is unique, individual, and is in their own perception and what each person chooses to see. Our actions and the conditions we encounter may be related to invisible causes. We sacrifice time to listen and learn, perhaps due to karmic debts. Our interests and activities, such as reading a book, can be linked to these connections. Every system we believe in, like socialism or democracy, can be an illusion, like something that seems very real in a dream. Understanding karma helps us realize that nothing exists independently. Absolutely everything is connected. This vision makes us see life more deeply, broadly. This can help us be better leaders, parents, and people. Ethics and morality are important, but wisdom and compassion are essential. Ultimately, we seek to transcend karma, both good and bad. And this leads us to an important question that I believe many, like me, you must have already asked yourself. Are we all linked by an invisible thread of past actions? If in those difficult moments we go through, they are the result of a karmic debt, attract people, relationships, and circumstances. Karmic connections and karmic debts are interconnected. Our actions, conditions, and relationships create bonds. It could be that right now, someone somewhere else watching this video is connected to me karmically. It is possible. And you may think it's myth or religion, but if you understand the logic, you'll see that it makes sense. It all comes down to cycles. Cycles of emotion, attitudes, actions, and circumstances that we attract to us. Your vibration, your frequency, is what attracts more of the same to you. But how to break negative cycles and start a new path of light? The secret lies in how we end a cycle, as it is this closure that defines how a new cycle begins. If you end a relationship in gratitude, understanding the processes of the being who was your partner during that period and yours as well, your next relationship will begin in gratitude. Just as you end up in conflict, the next conflicting relationship will begin. Is it possible that a simple thing like being grateful can raise our energy to the point of attracting new opportunities? Gratitude is a powerful practice for keeping our frequency high. It's a way of looking at life in gratitude for everything you go through. And when we have this perspective, learning becomes much easier. It's not about judging what you did or didn't do, but what did you learn from this? And how you can do it differently in the next cycle. How your attitudes lead you to a path of greater compassion, of wisdom, of inner transformation. Karma is not destiny. You can't deny your karmic heritage, said the late Traleg Rinpoche, but that doesn't mean you can't change. Criticisms of the concept of karma often center on the notion of individual responsibility and suggest that this notion generates an attitude of antipathy towards others and leads to a tendency to blame. The poor are to blame for being poor and so on. It is wrongly said that Buddhism blames individuals for all their circumstances and denies them the power of action. If we are poor, for example, we can immediately believe that we will remain like this until the karmic debts are finished. And then, after death, we can be reborn in fortunate circumstances, who knows, making us a rich entrepreneur. However, this type of thinking does not fit with Buddhism's emphasis on the interconnectedness of everything, which confirms the abundant complexity of influences on people, including their environment. Buddhism certainly contains the idea of an accumulation of karma, impressions, dispositions, probabilities throughout our lives, acquired patterns of behavior, etc. Still, this is not to say that we simply wait for imprinted particular karma or debts or inheritances that evaporate or disappear before anything can be done. The karmic theory of Buddhism is not similar to fatalism or predetermination. We have the power of choice, free will, in our actions. If we didn't, then karmic theory could truly produce moralistic judgments and attitudes, and the Buddha's teachings would be much less inspiring and much less effective. Karmic theory has not fixated on particularities like this, and is not tied to a static moral order. Clearly, an element of determinism is involved, and this must be accepted. We are who we are because of our karmic heritage. We might not be as we are without this heritage, but this doesn't mean we have to stay that way. The point is that karmic theory encourages us to think, I can become the person I want to be, and not insist on what I already am. What steps can you take today to begin the transformation you want, with the tools and opportunities you have around you? Karma is so powerful that it influences every moment of life and death. If you have good karma, no matter how many times you move house, you will always end up somewhere charming. No matter how much you advertise new domestic help, you will always find someone kind and honest. And whatever you eat will always taste delicious. If you have bad karma, no matter who you date, you will always end up fighting, and the food that others love will always make you sick. How you die will also depend on your karma. If your karma is good, you will not resist the process of dying, and you will face death calmly and sensibly. So what is good karma, and what is bad karma? It depends on your vision. One person may think that dying surrounded by their family and friends is good karma, while another person's good karma may be dying alone in a thick forest, without tears or conflict, in silence and at peace. For others, good karma would be having someone at your bedside on your deathbed to remind you of all the good times you had. You have the keys in your hands to make choices for your life, and your life and your own process of passage depend on their gaze. Seeking self-knowledge is the key that allows us to go through the cycles with more lightness and love. And now that you can understand deeply about karma, the central question is how we apply this understanding. The goal is not to accumulate good karma and get rid of bad karma, but to free ourselves from this illusion. That is the ultimate goal. In a dream, the perception of time is relative. If we love something in the dream, time passes quickly. If we hate it, it passes slowly. This reflects the essence of reincarnation, continuous changes in our perception and emotions. Understanding karma is vital to the pursuit of freedom. Knowing the rules of the game of life helps us transcend karma, not get stuck in it. The logic of interdependence shows that our actions and their effects are broadly connected, even if invisible. The goal is not to accumulate good karma and avoid bad, but to free yourself from it. For those who still see karma as something real, there are 3 disciplines: ethics, concentration, samadhi, and wisdom, prajna. Without wisdom, ethics and concentration make no sense. Practice, whatever it may be, must lead us to the truth. Understanding impermanence, constant change, is essential. This is more effective than just sitting in a temple. Understanding karma is not just about physical actions and words, but mainly about the mind. The motivation behind the actions. Motivation and intention determine the impact of our actions. Knowing the rules of the game allows us to play it better, even if the ultimate goal is to transcend it. Ultimately, understanding karma helps us see that nothing exists in isolation. Karma teaches us that our actions and intentions are interconnected, influencing our journey toward truth and freedom. If this video makes sense to you, comment karma so that more people can be aware of their actions. This is an in-depth video on Buddhist teachings about karma, and also my truth and my experience. So take what makes sense to you. And most important of all, the secret is in the next video. May all beings benefit from these teachings. Tashi Delek, see you in the next video.